Danger, danger.
And, ooh, mistake.
Oh.
2-0 to Nancy. Stevie's one mistake away. It's nice to know that even people at the higher end of the scale are still out there making mistakes every now and again.
It's a tough game.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode here of GTO Duel. I am Matt Hunt. I am joined once again by the one that everybody's trying to challenge, Mr. Stevie Chidwick. Welcome, Stevie.
Thanks.
And we have a new challenger taking a seat today, so welcome, Nancy.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to do things the same way that we've done before. Playing against George, our resident octopus friend, and the operator of the Octopi trainer. Each player is going to go back and forth, making one decision after another. The winning player is going to be the one who outlasts the other, basically. So you're going to bust here if you make one blunder or 3 mistakes. And we're going to be a bit generous with the mistakes. If it's what the trainer class is as a 0% mistake, we're not going to count it as a mistake. But if you reach that limit of that number of mistakes, then you lose, and whoever is the opponent is going to be the winner. Well, without any further ado, let's dive in. You can tell us a little bit about the spot that you've picked.
So I picked 40. Actually, that's literally, I picked cutoff versus button. Playing as the cutoff. Playing out.
Okay. We got an out of position c-bet spot. This is it's a tricky spot. So we'll see how this one shapes up. And we're going to dive right in. So we're going to start with you, Nancy, when the first decision pops up. We have a board of Jack 10 5, and we have Pocket Kings, King of Clubs. What do you like here? What are your thoughts?
This is an interesting one. I think on 10 Jack boards, I typically check. So this is probably this would often be like a check raise situation. But I think with the club, actually, I'm not sure that I do because I'm blocking too many of their continues. So I'd start with a check.
So we're going to go with a check. All right, let's hit the check button and see where we're at. So it is low frequency check, but it is in there. So there's quite a bit of the larger size being used with this specific hand, even though it's not being used that often with range. So interesting kind of a scenario, but we do see a check here, and the turn is the 3 of clubs. So Stevie, what are your thoughts about this spot right here?
Okay, after check. We obviously have hands like this that we were looking to check raise the flop with. On an offsuit 3, I'd be very confident about playing the overbet size. I think even on the flush completer, I'm gonna favor the overbet when I bet, but I could see it sliding into the 5.3 big blind size. Check raising would have some merits, I think, but I think mostly we want to just start putting money in ourselves. I'll go with all the bigs not all in option of 8.5 big blinds.
Okay, so we're going to go overbet. Okay, so range-wise, it's pretty low frequency. It's only a small sort of sliver of overbet in there, but this is one of the hands that has 22% of it. So we're kind of favoring not too big here, but there is a bit of overbet coming in there. We do bet, and we just get a fold from George's pocket 6s. So all good so far. All right, our next spot, we have Queen 6 rainbow, and we have 10-8 of clubs. Nancy, what are your thoughts?
This is interesting. I think, since it's a paired board, we'd only be betting a very small amount if we bet at all. And I think we go ahead and bet the 1.8.
Okay, so we're going to hit 1.8.
Since we're kind of at the bottom of our, obviously we benefit a lot from folds.
Okay, so we bet and we get a call, but interestingly, we don't do a lot of small betting on this flop. Now, this is, I think, for me, this is an area that people there's a real blind spot for people here when it comes to the way that paired boards play from out of position compared to in position. And I think you see people looking at paired boards as, oh, it's paired board, we bet small. But in fact, from out of position, because the in-position players range is really dense to a lot of pocket pairs and good ace highs, it tends to work more effectively to have this kind of strategy where you see a fair amount of checking, but also some reasonably big bets here to put some of those stronger ace highs in some tough spots. So a little bit of a takeaway for people there that are maybe making some mistakes on some paired boards in these types of situations, because it is very different playing against button to playing against big blind. But we do bet small and we get called, which is a non-zero frequency play. So we're okay there. Didn't make a mistake. And now we end up in kind of a low frequency line. We get called, and then we see this King of Clubs turn. Stevie, what do you think about this one?
it can be tricky playing these low frequency lines when you're playing against the bot, because sometimes the ranges get pretty specific. But that said, obviously a good card for us turning the flush draw, a card that we want to be pretty aggressive on. We should have folded out a good amount of his King X on the flop, though I think he's probably indifferent with a hand like King Jack. But we're gonna have a good amount of King X ourselves, and I think at this point we probably want to target the mid pairs mostly. I'm kind of between the half pot and the geometric size. I think I would go with the half pot here, because I think overall that helps our range for him to continue a few more of the mid pairs, and then when we have hands like this or Jack 10, for example, we retain a bit more equity of being able to hit our pair and still have some showdown value, whereas the bigger size kind of forces him into some stronger continues.
Sure.
So I think I would just go with the half pot here.
All right, so let's hit the 5.3. And, ooh, 0.2% mistake. All right. Wow. So once again, this happened in the first match, by the way, as well, Nancy. Stevie went 1-0 down, 1-0 down early on, but came back to win. So, pressure's on at this point. So it is a slight mistake. So now it's over to you, Nancy, to figure out what the best play is. Yeah, one decision at a time here, right? So we know it's not half pot. What are we going with?
So I'd go up one. So I would assume we go up one notch. We're kind of
Okay.
So to basically fold out any like random under pairs here.
Okay. So we're going to go up one notch, and yep, it is actually pure geometric size here for the 10-8 suited. So we do go with the big size. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting split of like a little bit of thin value with the small size and then a geometric size as well. So kind of a tricky turn strat to execute there, and a good example of how some of these low frequency lines can start to get a bit weird. So we then get called and we see a 10 on the river. So we do river a pair. What do you think, Stevie, about this one?
So I'm thinking that he is still going to continue some pocket pairs on the turn, even versus the biggest size. So we do have a bit of showdown value. That said, we have to pick something to bluff with. We do have a lot of value here, rivered straights and queen X. So I don't think it's kind of a mandatory check when we river a 10. That said, I think the fact that we have two clubs in our hand isn't working for us. And if I was to bet a river 10, I think I'd prefer like a Jack 10 to be blocking the ace Jack and matching value a bit more. So I think I will just check this one.
Okay, so we're gonna hit the check and let's see. Yep, pure check. Ooh. We face the jam. Face the jam, Nancy. What are we doing here?
I mean, since this is very interesting. I mean, we're gonna have to fold, but like it's sort of interesting. This is very curious. Like I'm trying to think of what their bluffs even are at this point, that we would ever beat, and it's kind of a struggle to think of one. So, and we obviously have all the. Not that you'd be really. It's very interesting. I mean, you're just gonna fold.
Okay, we're gonna fold,
but just curious.
It is pure fold, but yeah, let's bring this one up.
Curious, like what they would have as a bluff, actually, because we're blocking like a lot of stuff. And
in this low frequency line right here, this is villain strategy. And if we focus in on the bottom half of their range, and we try to figure out where their bluffs are coming from, it's a lot of basically a lot of the stuff that had a backdoor on the flop and just kind of floated. So like a lot of the club hands, missed clubs. The 8 of clubs is pretty prevalent in there, which is part of what makes it a bad bluff catcher. They're also bluffing with some like pocket 8s, pocket 7s, which is definitely really tricky to find. 5s and 4s, that makes a little more sense because they're a little bit on the weaker side. There's occasionally turning 6-5 of clubs into a bluff. And then there's a little bit of some ace high over here as well, or ace 6 as well, actually, but also ace 5 of clubs and ace 4 of clubs. So a mixture of a couple of pairs that turn into bluffs and some missed backdoors. So definitely a very tricky spot for them to find those. So we do make the fold, and we're going to move on to our next hand. So we've got Jack 5-3 rainbow, and Stevie has 8-7 of spades. What are we doing here?
Okay, so it strikes me as a board that is pretty decent for the imposition player. In this kind of wide range situation, he's going to have a lot of offsuit Broadway hands, King Jack, Queen Jack, maybe even Jack 10, and then the lower pair going to be more heavy in his range than ours. So I think we're going to play fairly passively on the flop with some big bet when we bet. And I think I would prefer a bit more going. I mean, we do have some stuff going on with the 7-8, but I think an overcut to the jack and just matching our value a bit more would be preferred. So I think this is going to be actually somewhat passive of a combo, and I will check.
Okay, we're going to check. And yep, it's high frequency check, basically playing the same as range, low frequency bet, high frequency check. And then we face a 1.8. So Nancy, are we ever continuing here?
Yeah, so this is very awkward. Like I was actually just thinking like, oh, I can definitely fold to a big bet clearly, but like small bet is like, I don't know with this combo if there's ever like I guess I'm kind of bluff. I don't know, blocking like 5-6. Like I mean, they certainly have some trash they're gonna stab here with that. I guess like if it was 6-7, I would think more about doing that like little tiny check raise that you do sometimes for like super value if you had middle set, but also for some bluffs maybe. But I don't think I can just call. I mean, this one's tough. Like this one, I'm actually really not sure because it's like, do I have enough? With 2 overs to the 5 and the backdoor straight possibility and the backdoor flush with a small, I'm going to say maybe we just call. It's a little awkward to really try to check raise this. So I'm going to just say call it.
Okay, we're going to call. All right. Yeah, high frequency call, low frequency check raise. Definitely can't fold this hand. This is a lot higher up than most people would expect as far as where it is in our range. Like we have check calls on this flop that go to like king 10 off. We have stuff like even like 9-6 with a backdoor is check calling sometimes here. So there's just a lot of decent turn cards for this type of combo. And there's a lot of hands in our range here that just have to defend against that fairly small size. So nice call. Turn 3 of spades. And now Stevie gets the fun job of playing this interesting spot where we have 8 high and a flush draw, but we're out of position.
The 3 does, I think, slightly help us because it makes it obviously much less likely that the button has bottom set. So I think it is overall a slightly good card for us, but I don't think that it's a good enough card to merit a lead. If it were, then it would be, I think, a very like a min bet lead, which we don't have the option for. So I'll just check.
Sure. Okay. And yep, pure check with everything, so no problems there. Now we get to the river. We have 8 high. We brick the flush draw. We don't make a pair. So Nancy, what are we doing here? And what are your thoughts about our overall kind of strategy here?
Since we did brick, I mean, obviously flush draws are pretty rough to be bluffing with on the river. That's typically things you don't bluff with. But in this case, we have a lot of interaction with the board as far as, straight cards and that goes. So, I mean, we can't really, I mean, I'm wondering if we can reasonably like rep the 3 right now, because we're obviously pretty low down in our range. And I don't know if this is the case. And if it were like an ace-x kind of flush draw, I assume we would just kind of give up and hope our ace-high is good. But this is so I'm going to say, maybe this is a mistake, but I feel like, I mean, we could definitely have like ace-3. We could have the suited ace. We could have a pretty strong hand. So I feel like there's probably a lot we can fold because they have to have some, like, the thing is we can fold out like king high, queen high, and those things would be so valuable for us to fold out. I'm going to say 5.3. Okay.
I'll go with that. And that is good. So we actually have, with range, we have a mix of all sizes. With this hand, we actually prefer the B76, but there's a tiny shred of 50 in there, which is how you got away with that one. So we got up to a good bluff there. We found a good bluff. So moving on, king 9-4, 2 diamonds is our next board, and Stevie's up with the ace king of diamonds. So we flopped the world here. What are we doing?
Could go either way. I mean, either of the 3 ways, I guess. I think there's some merits for both sizes. And checking on this board, what's going to give us the most difficult decisions after? I'm going to start with a check.
Okay, interesting. We come with the check, and yeah, it's mixing all three as you correctly identified, mixing all three. So we do check. It goes check, check, and now we have double flush draw, king 9-4-7. Nancy, you're up.
All right. Well, we're clearly betting here. We know that. So the question is, because we do have the front door flush draw as well, like I'm not sure if it was like offsuit, we'd be going for the pretty big size, but I'm gonna say because we also have the flush draw, let's go 5.3.
Okay. 5.3 it is. Oh, 0% mistake. Okay, we're not gonna punish you for that one. We're gonna, if it's a 0% mistake, we're not gonna call it a mistake for the purposes of this challenge. So you're all good on that. But I am gonna ask you to decide again and choose the preferred option. So if it's not the B75, now you have to pick what it is. But bear in mind, if you go in the wrong direction, it could be a mistake, right?
Yeah,
so,
it definitely is going to be. Okay, so I would say then go down one to 3.6.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah. So we're actually mixing everything from the smaller sizes to the overbet, which is B75 is like the only thing we don't do with ace king diamonds here, which is interesting. All right. So we went with the half pot size, and now we make the nut flush on the river. Stevie, over to you.
Danger, danger.
Yeah.
Okay. We have the nuts. Typically, when you have a flush, but also you have the top pair, so you're blocking the continues. Typically, you don't go with the biggest sizes. And also blocking hands that will bet if I check, making me want to check raise a bit less. So I think I would lump this into a size that I would bet with just a king and hope to get some looser calls or to get bluff raised by sixes with a diamond or whatever. Yeah, I think when we have the king in our hand, that's typically the play. So I guess that's going to be the half pot size.
Okay, so 7.1. Yeah. All right, let's come with that one. And mistake. Oh man. Wow. So that makes the scoreboard is now 2-0 to Nancy. So Nancy, Stevie's one mistake away.
Oh, see, this is great because I get to hear the whole process before.
Yeah, right. Now Nancy has to find the best play here, right?
This is just, it's weird because I know, I'm going to go 10.7.
Okay, 10.7.
Let's do it.
It says please wait, so it's usually means you're right. Yeah. Oh, it's low frequency, but you did get it. It's like 8%
the low frequency
in there. All right. So we found that low frequency line again. So now, like I say, the scoreboard is now 2-0 to Nancy. So Stevie's on the verge of getting beat here. Stevie is in metaphorically short stacked and playing sort of push fold poker at this point with only one potential mistake left. So
no more mistakes for me.
No more mistakes for Stevie. The Queen 6-5 monotone now. So not only are you one mistake away, you now have to play a monotone board out of position. What are we thinking here?
That's us. All right, monotone boards out of position. Typically like a very small size. I think we can either check or bet. I think it's going to be a passive board overall, even though we have obviously a pretty strong hand. And I will start with a check.
Okay. We hit the check button. Yep. Actually, basically pure check, which is pretty much range check. Yeah, right. 99% check, range check here. So it does go check, check. And now we get the 4 of diamonds turn. So this is where it starts to get real tricky. Having nut flush draw, out of position, monotone board, check, check, flop. Nancy, what do we think?
So I think we're just going to check this. I mean, usually with the ace, I think ace 9 is maybe, I think we're just going to check it. I think there's just not that much benefit to betting it. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Check.
So we're going to hit check. Ooh, wow. It's basically mixing everything. It's kind of preferring the B75 size here, but it's mixing little bits and pieces of everything else. So we did come with the check. It went check, check, and then 5 of clubs river. Stevie, what are we doing here?
I think it's a little bit too strong to bluff, and I will check it. Hope to get the showdown.
Okay, we hit the check. If it's going to actually let me do it. Yep. Okay, so it just goes check, check. George wins with pocket 7s. So nothing too much to say about that one. All right, Nancy, Queen 7-4, and we have pocket jacks. What are your thoughts here?
So this is a very This I would say is a very comfortable check call situation. Check.
Okay. Interesting. So we're going to check. All right. Yeah, I mean, this is high frequency check with range and with this specific hand. So we're all good there. It does go check, check again. And now we see a 9 of clubs turn. So Stevie, what are we doing here?
I think most of our volume is going to be an overbet when we do bet. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a block range also, but I think with the pocket jacks, it's going to be heavy check. Go from there.
Okay, so we're going to hit the check again. Oops. And okay, so kind of 50-50-ish, you know, a little bit of small and medium size, as you said, and then also a little bit of overbet as well. So a bit of both. And then this is where it gets kind of tricky. We face a 5.3 size. So 5.3 into 7.1. This is B76, B75 basically. And Nancy, what are we doing here?
Okay, so they've probably picked up enough equity to bluff with some kind of like gutters and things like that. I'm going to guess. I mean, we're definitely going to call it. I don't see any merit in raising it, so we're just going to call it.
Okay. We hit call. Yep, 100% call. 4 of diamonds, river. Don't think there's too much to talk about here. Stevie, what are we doing?
We're going to check.
All right, gonna check. And ooh, okay, tough one, Nancy. Now we face 13.3, so we face B75. So we face kind of catch-all sort of a size here, and we have jacks facing, facing this bet. So what are we thinking in this spot?
So since I went check on the flop, I mean, I know we're just going to call this. I mean, George is going to just yell at us if we do not call this. We will call this because they still have plenty of bluffs in their range.
3% mistake.
Oh no!
You are that is dangerously close to a blunder. You almost busted the entire thing right there. All right, so definitely a pretty substantial mistake here. Stevie, do you want to take us down the avenue of what we think the right play is here?
Yeah, I think we're just going to fold. I think the problem with jacks is that they'll be a bit too prevalent in the bluffing range from the button. I think hands like king jack and jack 10, jack 8 suited even, and I think we would prefer to call with even some worse hands absolute value wise with better blockers, because they're not going to be betting just like pocket 10s, for example. So we'd rather call a hand like ace 9, ace 7, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was pretty much my instinct here. As soon as we had jacks on this river, I sort of thought like we're going to see a jack in the bluffing range quite a bit. If I unweight this here and we take a look at the types of bluffs that we're seeing, jack 10 is a big part of that, right? 6-5 is in there as well at high frequency, but jack 10 is obviously, there's more combos of it because there's jack 10 off in range too, but there's, it's just a pretty prevalent part of range. And if you look at the exact hands, we've got some king 5 and stuff in there. We've got some like low card hands that do bluff at high frequencies, but the most prevalent ones that we're going to see, the ones that are arriving in the range at the highest frequency are going to be stuff like jack 10. So certainly I think a spot that I can see players getting wrong, and definitely one that is pretty tricky to wrap your head around, first of all, before you've looked at kind of blocker impacts and things like that. So scoreboard is now 2-1. Stevie claws 1 back, and we now have ace 4 deuce 2 diamonds, and it's on Nancy this time. Pocket kings.
I think we pretty much would range check like an ace little board like this.
Okay, so we're gonna hit check. All right. Yep, pretty close to range check, so pretty accurate there. We face 1.8. Stevie, what are we doing?
We're just going to call. I don't see really any merit in raising.
Yep, so we're going to check call. Seems good. 10 of clubs turn. Nancy, are we ever donking here, or are we just checking?
Check.
Okay, so we're going to check. Yep, pure check. And then George checks back. And now we get the interesting river that completes the flush. We do have the king of diamonds. Stevie, what are your thoughts?
I think I'm kind of on the threshold of blocking for value while checking. I don't think I'm going to use half pot or bigger. We do play these ace high boards fairly passively overall, so we are going to have quite a few ace x hands. Obviously the flush completes. I think I'm a bit scared, but I think it's just a little too weak, and we're going to check it.
Okay. So we're gonna hit the check and 2% mistake. Wow. Okay, I mean that's it. That's GG Stevie. 3 mistakes
GG.
and a 2% mistake at the end as
Well
well.
done,
Wow.
Nancy.
So do you want to take a shot at what the right play is here, Stevie?
I think it's going to be a block. Although
it's gonna be
2%
the
is kind of a
B25.
big mistake. Like maybe it's even the B50.
No, it is. It's pure block. It's pure block. Range wise, we have a tiny bit of the big sizes, but just a lot of block here. So yeah. Your first instinct about the block was good, I guess. Here, probably not.
I got
common.
too scared because I was one mistake away from.
Yeah, you had that. You had that like mistake ICM going on. You had like a high risk premium or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So congrats, Nancy. You are officially the first challenger to beat Stevie in this challenge. There will be a prize coming your way. I think it's Poker Go subscriptions, all sorts of good stuff like that. Congrats. Well played.
That was great. That was really fun. Thank you so much for including me.
Cool. Well, I'm glad we could involve you, and thank you, Stevie, for taking part again and putting yourself out there and being willing to make a couple errors publicly. It's not always easy, but it's nice to know that even someone with, I don't even know how many $1 million in earnings you have, but it's nice to know that even people at the higher end of the scale are still out there making mistakes every now and again.
It's a tough game.
It is a tough game. It's a very complicated game. Poker is hard, everybody. So thank you, Nancy and Stevie. We'll be back again with another episode very soon, and we'll see if somebody else can take on Stevie and win. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you want to check out the software that Steven and our other challengers are using to improve their game, the link is down in the description. See you in the next one.